Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the lower bracket of the DreamHack Last Chance Qualifier. As in the top right-hand corner, she just got knocked down by another Terran player, actually, by Time. Shopify Rebellion's Scarlett. And in the bottom left, from Storm Gaming, it's Special. And for both these players, this is, quite unfortunately, going to be kind of do or die in this qualifier. You lose and you are out, and, well, unfortunately, that's also a lot of your chances, because there is only a singular qualifier per region for the DreamHack Last Chance. So if you lose, and you don't make it through in the America qualifier, you're gonna have to try either Korea or Europe. And at this point, I believe actually America's was the last one to happen. So this is the last chance to qualify for both these players, and whoever wins will continue on in the bracket. It's not guaranteed that you'll qualify. They still have to play at least 2 or 3 more matches after this best of 3. But both of them are players that I think a lot of people would consider and say, you know, maybe they deserve their spot in that last chance tournament. We will see. Now, Glittering Ashes is a very large map, so there's the potential that we see a 30-minute long game here to start out this best of 3, which wouldn't necessarily be the worst. Might put me to sleep. I'm a little bit tired. We'll see. By the way, hello. I'm TitanOnFire. I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are. And thank you for joining me for some wonderful StarCraft 2. So we are going to be seeing the first Reaper already find its way on out here from Special. And Special versus Scarlett is a matchup that used to happen a lot, especially when both of them lived in Korea. They were practice partners. They had, I forget what exactly the house was, but it was Special, Scarlett, and No Regret, and I believe sort of were all living in Korea, playing there. And so these two players know each other quite well. As the Reaper is gonna, ooh, gets a ling. That's not supposed to happen. The Reaper is just gonna poke around, be happy that they got a singular kill. That's more than most Reapers ever get in their lifetime. Unfortunately, the Reaper program is fairly unforgiving to the criminals who are put into it, and, well, I mean, that's what the Reaper program is. It's That's kind of what it's used for. The Terran Dominion, not a very nice place, unfortunately. That's not really what it's known for. Is we are going to be seeing that this is, in fact, a 3rd CC before Starport. Special, interestingly enough, did go with a double gas opening, but actually took an SCV off each of the gas geysers to have enough money for that 3rd CC before the Starport. So usually what you'll see is a singular gas with 3 workers on it, and then you go into your 3rd command center, Starport, 2nd gas, or 2nd gas, then Starport. But Special just mixing it up a little bit, and we'll see what the build choice is from here. Is double pumping Hellions out of this reactor. That's also a Liberator on the way. So we might be seeing some aggression here, or we'll most likely be seeing a bit of aggression, a bit of harassment coming out from Special. As the 3rd CC finishes up, I'm gonna look for whatever tech this is. If it isn't an early stim, is it going to be a swap over into a Cloaked Banshee? What's the play, Jose? As, ooh, nice pickup on the Hellion. Special going to continue to push around. Liberator will be finishing up now. Failing Nest on the way for Scarlett, and so far actually just a 2nd Liberator, interestingly enough. Now, the Liberator isn't a unit that you see a lot in TVZ just because its use is rather limited to, I mean, just pretty much harassment, solely harassment. And so usually it's not, especially once C2. I mean, 1, you'll see it every now and then for that harassment option to try and get a bit of damage done, but the 2nd being added on Sorry, we'll see what Special's plan is for it. As Juanito. Besieging it on up. Also has the Hellions that are going to look to try and dive on into the third base. So let's just get the worker pull. As here we go, Hellions. Third natural, or the third mineral line wide open, but the drones are just pulled away in time, and this large amount of Hellions so far not going to be able to really find any damage, but the second Liberator is coming out. And it looks like we are going to be seeing a mech game here from Special, which of course everyone wants to see a mech game from Special. Him and Gumio, they're the mech guys. They go mech. That's what we know they do. It's the Liberator. Gonna be able to find an opening here right around the Spore Crawler. Scarlett already on top of that repositioning game. Oh, Special, is this an opening into the natural? Oh, it just might be. Oh, the mineral line is wide open, and look how many Hellions there are. This is a roasty toasty barbecue, and this is a real American barbecue if there ever was one, as the Baneling's trying to roll on through. Oh, but the Hellion shots. Oh, the Hellion splits from Special. 11 drones already go down, now trying to find his way on into the main base. Kills the drone that was going to try and morph into a Spore Crawler. GG. Special takes game 1. Alright, so now maybe we'll have a little bit of a longer game. That was that was a bit of an outlier, I will admit. Of course, that was the idea with the build from Special, is that, alright, I'm going to get aggressive, I'm going to be using these Liberators and these Hellions to try and get a ton of harassment options on the map. And if Scarlett doesn't react perfectly to one of them, then of course she's going to lose a lot of drones. Now, I do not think Special was expecting that to end the game. But when you find, over 20 drone kills 6 minutes in, that's usually a pretty good indicator that you're gonna win the game. There's no real fighting back from that point. As we're on to Blackburn. So, Glittering Ashes had the aggression, so that's the big map out of the way. Now we're on to Blackburn, which is another map that tends to actually go quite long. You don't see many Blackburn games that are sub 10 minutes, even with, heavy roach timings and those kind of attacks. Still, the games on this map tend to usually go upwards of, 10, 12, maybe even upwards towards 20 minutes. Sometimes you get a 30-minute epic game. I mean, I think the best game that's ever been played on this map was Maru versus Serral in their King of Battles finals. An absolutely incredible game there. As the early game is going to be pretty normal, and that's what's to be expected. I apologize for my lack of diction today. I don't know what's up. I was feeling fine, and then my brain was like, let's be tired, because you got to talk now. But we're going to try and get through it. We're going to try and still be entertaining, provide you this awesome series. As once again, Special is going with a bit of a variation on his regular build, so it's no longer the fast third CC. Instead, you have the 3 workers on each gas, and that means that you're just going to be getting a faster starport, but a slower third command center, and that's the trade-off that you go for. Interestingly enough, Special will also be going for a 4 Widowmine drop in TVZ, which is not usually what you see. The Widowmine drop, especially in this matchup, has been less popular, but it still works. There have been players in the past that have had trouble dealing with it, and players who like to use it that can just mix it in. I'm thinking, especially a player like Maru, if he knows his opponent tends to be weak against it, so when he's playing against like DRG, he'll throw in Widowmine drops just constantly. So we're gonna see how this goes. I mean, 4 Widowmines can be very, very deadly. Scarlett doesn't really have any detection ready yet, so even if these Widowmines don't go off, if they're burrowed away, you're going to have to invest into the Spore Crawlers. You're going to have to try and at least get something up, as the medevac is going to be scouted by these Overlords very nicely spaced out. And that is an armory on the way, so it looks like this is going to be mech from Special, as Medevac is finding its way on in. Scarlett hasn't reacted just yet. Widowmine's being dropped on down. There is the worker pull. Only the singular Widowmine being dropped out. Oh, almost manages to get a shot onto that worker clump as again. Oh no, Scarlett. Oh, so nearly ended up losing a lot more workers. That's a great morph to cancel out the damage of that shot. And the armory is finished, so you're going to need to get these spore crawlers up. But this Widowmine might go off again. I think it is just timed out well enough that the Widowmine in the main will get another shot off. Scarlett has to pull away. Still loses 4 more workers, though. As a third, this Widowmine still up. The Hellions then make their way on in to try and distract. Finally, the Widowmine will go down. The other one reburrowed, found another 7 workers and Ling kills. As this has been an extremely efficient opening from Special. 14 workers go down, 6 Lings, and you only lose for it the 4 Widowmines. You save the 3 Hellions and the Medevac. I mean, you're living. You are absolutely living as Special for that kind of damage. As the second factory is going to go down, we have Drilling Claws. It's going to be continued Widowmine drops, and this is, I mean, I was talking about Maru earlier. This is, I mean, Maru, Clem, they love to do this. Usually it's off of a later kind of 2 factory timing that they'll start to throw in these mass Widowmine drops. But I love that Special is mixing it in so early. It's going to send out another 4 with Drilling Claws this time, so even if you pull your workers, it might just not be fast enough. Now, I would like to see a Viking mixed in here. I think clearing out these Overlords at the bottom of the map, if you're Special, would be a worthwhile investment, but seems though he's not really worried about that, as the Liberator is going to try and find its way over to this third base. The Spore Crawler not in position quite yet. Trying to pull away Scarlett's attention, as here we go. Medevac has made its way on into the base. Where is the worker pull? There it is, but the Widowmine drops the burrows. Speed burrow not quite fast enough. This might be a good shot though. 13 more drones. And Special, I mean, he's investing a lot into this aggression, but with it has found an incredible amount of damage. He has lost, I mean, this is so worthwhile. 8 Widowmines and a Liberator for 27 drones. And still Scarlett's at 67. Because Scarlett has been doing nothing but building workers as a response to this, which she can do. Because mind you, again, Special has committed his first 2 factories and his starport to building Widowmines. This is the only damage he can get. And so for Scarlett, just keeping her work count up is the name of the game. She's going to be working on a Spire as a response. But already double Thor production is on the way. +1 ship weapons or vehicle weapons is finished. And so we should be getting soon that +2, which means that Thors, well, fun fact about Thors, 2 of them with their splash damage. And so not, not their main big boy fire cannons, their 50mm artillery cannons. No, just with their AoE shot can 2-shot the mutas. That means 2 Thors, 1 volley each. And that is a flock of dead mutas. So this Spire, I really do not see it being, or at least ending up being, incredibly useful. But with 10 to 11 mulas on the way, you can always get some value from those mutts. So the Roach Warren is going to go down. The Spire has been scanned, and it looks like Scarlett does not want to try and commit into this tech choice, as Widowmine is going to burrow up. Not going to be able to finish its recharge before it does go down, as, oh my! Oh, just like that, the attention is brought away. 21 workers go down. I mean, that's how hard it is to deal with these Widowmine drops. As Scarlett, you have to be constantly focused on what's going on. And if you're not, well, Special dives on in, finds 21 more worker kills, and suddenly Special's up 77 workers to 66. We're not even 10 minutes into this game, not even. And Special has this insane worker lead. Now you are going to be seeing the Mutalisks looking to try and dive on top of these Hellions, but Special pulls back. We should just see this barracks taken care of, as the Mutas have been committed to. Scarlett, realize that you really don't have enough time to finish the Spire and then start a Roach Warren and, switch tech. So the Roaches are going to be the follow-up now, but these Mutalisks are going to be able to try and maintain a little bit of map control, trying to get it back in her favor. Although, I don't know if that's gonna work. It's 171 supply to 135. And you just lose a Mutalisk like that. I don't... The Special should just walk across the map. Special can just walk across the map right now, and he will win the game. Like, just go. I don't think there is any way that Scarlett can stop this army with what she has. There is absolutely no way. I mean, +2 vehicle weapons is completed. These 4 Thors can end the game. The Special does just kind of run the Hellions into their death, but there's really nothing stopping Special right now from being aggressive and from making it work. It doesn't want to commit to it. Again, losing those Hellions already without the Infernal Pre-Igniter does hurt just a little bit. Tanks haven't been added on just yet, but Special is so far ahead. And I mean so far ahead. Mech is it is a build that requires you to pretty much delay the Zerg and defend well enough that you can get to this point where you have an unstoppable army. Special has bypassed that. Special has completely ignored that and has already gone straight to the part of the game where he is extremely strong. Scarlett has to play around his army and has to try and just dodge, duck, dive, weave around this mech force until she has a high enough quality army to fight it. And well, right now the answer is going to be Roach Ravager. You do have the 11 Mutalisks that are able to at least try and keep these Thors at home. But yeah, one volley of those shots and these Mutalisks are not long for the world. As Scarlett continued to just try and get map control back in her favor, taking more and more bases right now. The base count is even, 5-5, and that's never what you want to see as a Zerg. As Scarlett's going to try and push here with the Ravagers, but look how many Thors there are. 7 Thors, 8 tanks. It's an absolutely massive army here from the Terran, and it's an army that trades for, with its supply well, which is, well, that's not what Roach Ravager does. Let's just say that as the +2 vehicle weapons of these tanks are going to pound away. The Blue Flame Hellions just walking forward and tanking the Roaches. I mean, you have vehicle and ship plating done as well. There's just not a lot here for the Zerg to do as Special is pushing. I don't know what Scarlett's going to do to hold on. Well, this is a good Mutalisk backstab to try and start it off. They get rid of quite a lot of these tanks, and once the tanks are gone, then you may be able to try and dive in with the ground force that you've remaxed on, which is a whole lot of Banelings and a whole lot of Lings and Roaches, which are very good at dealing with Thors. As the Mutalisks get aggroed on in, the collapses come through. The Thors are actually all separated. Scarlett, she might have just found the opening that she needs as the Zerglings dive on top. The Thors try their best to trade, but +3 weapons isn't done. Both of the players' supply drops. But for Scarlett, that is what you needed in this game. You needed to try and find a trade like that now. Special still has a massive bank. There's not much that you're going to do to change that. Scarlett needs to try and rebuild. I mean, she lost her 4th base. Has re-established one already, but even with that, you have this 2k bank of Special that is actually not even being used quite yet to its fullest potential. As more factories have been added on, +2 vehicle and ship plating on the way. And Special has made a swap into Battle Mech. Blue Flame Hellions and mag-filled Accelerator Cyclones trying to push here. Trying to just find a little bit damage as the tanks hunker down the position. As there we go, Special, and he does get invested. 3 more command centers are placed down. And Special, I mean, he had a 60 supply lead about 10 minutes into this game, but that lead has deteriorated. Scarlett has managed to find a way back in through a very, very well done trade. But now you do have to deal with Battle Mech, which is quite annoying if you are the Zerg. Especially working with Roach Ravager, which does not have the surround capabilities. I mean, you can see how easily these Cyclones lock on, but there we go. The Ling's going to come on through for the surround, and once again, Special has overextended with an army that does not trade well against the units that Scarlett is building. does not have enough Hellions with this force, does not have Hellbats that have been added on. And so the Zerglings are able to get us around. And then when it's Zerglings versus Cyclones, well, guess who wins that? It's the Zerglings. There's no real contest from the Cyclone. Some lock-ons go down to scan to keep it. Nice Widow Mine shot to finish it off, and Special suddenly on the back foot, which is not what I was expecting to say. Still, of course, has almost 3k gas in the bank, which is not usually the case when you are going mech, but not investing in the super heavy tech units, only really building one upgrade at a time means that he's saved up quite a bit of money, as Scarlett is working on her +3/+3, and I mean, has really gotten herself back into this game. Before this, it was looking scary. It was looking like Special was just going to walk across the map, Scarlett was going to be dead, but now, almost maxed out, 3k minerals in the bank. She is getting a little bit low on that gas count, does need to start mining more. But Neural Parasite to help deal with this mech army, the +3 melee attacks and ranged attacks, as well as the infestors for fungal growth. And look at that, just like that, one fungal growth, and so many Cyclones get caught on out. Special. Be able to continue to find damage. Or, sorry, Scarlett going to be able to continue to find damage. The CC does go down. Hellions making their way on into the forward base here of Scarlett, and well, the drones weren't pulled away, so they're going to get a lot of value. 12 of the drones do go down, evening up that worker count. Special, and once again try and reestablish his own 6th base in the top right hand corner. Scarlett, 6 of her own, looking for the top base, the 7th base, that are so crucial on this map. As whoa, Scarlett, what just happened? You walked up a ramp into tanks? That is unfortunately not that good of an idea, as so many units go down for the Zerg player. Of course, she does have 6k minerals in the bank almost, so she can remax, she can rebuild, but even then, took a lot of damage. As these Mutilas still trying to be annoying, but it is about high time that that supply gets cleared up for other units. As this, these 3 tanks get a lot of damage. They are all going to fall to the Corrosive Biles. But those +3 tanks, they do a whole lot. Vehicle plating level 3 will be finishing up. And Scarlett, what is the remax? Well, it's a Greater Spire that is on the way, but it's not done quite yet. So for the meantime being, Scarlett is going to be sitting at quite a decreased army supply. And now, oh, you're going to see these infestors get caught out, and that's absolutely massive. For Special is now sitting 200 supply versus 179. Scarlett having to remax a bit more on the Roaches and Lings. It's not entirely what you want. You want those infestors, you want corruptors, you want to get into the Broodlords. But Special still trying to trade aggressively. Doesn't want to give time for that. Ooh, as a good fungal growth goes down. Cyclone's not going to get caught out, though. And, well, this Cyclone count is starting to get a bit scary. 12 of them. The amount of DPS that's able to be put out by this army is insane. As it's 94 workers for Scarlett. She's working on a massive economy. Cyclone's continuing to just be a nuisance. A thorn in the side of Scarlett is... Now we're going to see another commit on in. Good Corrosive Biles to deal with the Liberator. Fungal growth onto a majority of the Cyclones, but look how quickly the rest of the units melt. I mean, the Cyclones are just fighting straight up, and they are winning. As tanks now inching forward. More lock-ons go down. Scarlett's supply dips below 150. And she has the Greater Spire done. But she just needs to give up this base. If you want to get into your Broodlords, you have to give up the base. You have to just focus on your remax. But can Scarlett do that? I mean, does she have enough gas for it? She's only sitting at a 1k gas. Another great fungal growth, but there's nothing there to help collapse on it. Hellions are being dealt with by the Ravagers, and now we're going to see the straight up fight as the Cyclones try and kite this out. They will eventually all be dealt with. But 23 workers go down. The 7th base is killed. And Scarlett still doesn't have a transition. Scarlett still doesn't have, you know, an army composition that scales into the late game, and you just see how quick it all melts to those tanks. +3/+3 on this mech army. The tank's gonna have to back on up. Scarlett looking for a catch here in the middle of the map. But again, the Cyclones just do so much damage. The tanks are able to get away. They're able to siege on up. And where is the transition? It's nowhere to be seen. The gas is being used again on Ravagers and Infestors. Just not what you want. You want other units in this composition if you are Scarlett, but you don't have the time to get them. And sure, even though you're able to trade and you're able to continue to build these mineral-intensive units, as soon as Special, gets into a stronger army, it's not really going to matter. And, Special is just continuing to build Cyclones, and I feel like that is not the right call. Just because these Cyclones, they are not going to scale well until the late game. They do a lot of damage, sure, but as soon as there's, again, Fungal Growths, Infestors counter them so hard. Ravagers are able to get on top of them. They need to almost be stationary to really get maximum DPS, or they need to be chasing down units. As Scarlett is just committing on in, she's actually finding so much damage. There was nothing to protect the tanks. Where are the Hellions? Where are this buffer that Special needs to help deal with these Ravagers just jumping on top of his army? And now suddenly Scarlett has found another fight. She's gonna build more Roach Ravager, but she's actually out of larva. Oh, Scarlett, this is actually massive. Scarlett running out of larva right now to work with. She doesn't have the ability to remax. She's sitting at 145 supply. She has 3K minerals in the bank, and she can't use it. She can't. She doesn't have the larva. She hasn't been injecting as well as she needs. Where are the queens? She doesn't have any queens left. She hasn't rebuilt them. This is massive. Scarlett might just lose the game because she doesn't have any queens. And now she's trying to commit once again into a fight. But tanks are on the high ground. Scans go down. Scarlett's still not rebuilding queens. Finally, there's a queen in production, but it's so late now. And I think Special just has enough. Special's been able to constantly trade at this point. You've lost so much. You're just committing into these fights that you're not going to be able to win because the mech just trades so well. 3-3 tanks pound away at the armored shells of these Roaches and Ravagers. And Scarlett dips below 100 supply. She tried her darndest, but it was not enough. GG, Special takes the 2-0.